Have you ever watched a basketball player take free throws? Yeah, I'm not talking about the part where, it goes in or not. I'm talking about the process. And I get it. It's typically the time you're nudging your buddy and being like, that call was bullshit. Or Vlade Divac, that call was bullshit. But if you actually watch the shooter, you'll notice something. The player slowly step to the line, get the bounce pass from the referee, take a few very precise dribbles, maybe a spin, maybe some extracurricular stuff. Who knows? And then shoot up the shot. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that's a foul shot, dumbass. Well, that, my friends, is where you're wrong. Dumbass. Guys, what is up? Kevin from liftandbalance.com coming in live from my New York City apartment on my yoga ball. You gotta engage the core when you're having these talks. Hope you don't mind. And I am here today to talk to you about how taking some free throws could be the secret solution to your stress management. Bet you didn't see that coming. Let me first explain why basketball players have a free throw routine. And it's really quite simple. If you think about it, a player's free throw routine is really just a way to alleviate all the stresses of that current environment. A routine to cancel out all the noise, to breathe, and bring focus to the task at hand. The free throw routine is really a way for the players to make an uncomfortable situation or environment comfortable again. Because whether it's 1 of 1,000 in practice or 1 of 2 in Game 7 of the NBA championships, the routine's the same. Overthinking, high emotions, fatigue could all be conquered by a couple of dribbles and a spin of a basketball. If only life were that easy. I'll pause, because I know what you're thinking. Hey Kev, cool. I don't play basketball. Well, even if you don't ball, you still find yourself at the free throw line day in and day out. Not the literal free throw line, but the free throw line of life. Common places and situations that you find yourself in that just stress you the hell out. What are some of these situations? I don't know. Your daily job, managing the craziness of your family, your commute. The list goes on. And to be quite honest, typically it's a mix of all of the above and a whole lot more. And even though the situations differ from person to person, the underlying physiological response is very much the same. And depending on the way your brain processes all these daily occurrences, it most likely leads to the activation of your fight or flight response or your sympathetic nervous system, along with a couple of hormones that get your body all jacked up. The main ones being epinephrine and cortisol. I'm sure you heard of that last one. Now, this response in small doses is actually good. It's actually key for our survival. Think back hundreds of thousands of years ago, early man getting chased by a saber-tooth. Activation of this system can actually be life-saving. Triggers a quick response so you can get the hell out of there. Problem is, this response is happening in our daily life, in common situations that are non-life-threatening. Example, sitting down at your desk and being agitated by your fellow employee or your boss, or joining a couple of million Americans on a commute to work, getting cut off and freaking out. When you actually start to think about it, the prevalence of your body getting all tensed and stressed out is probably pretty common. It is for most folks in the Western world. The point where we're starting to see this become really dangerous is when it becomes chronic in nature to an individual. When you're stressed out, activation of your sympathetic nervous system affects things such as glucose levels and insulin sensitivity, fat, protein, and carbohydrate metabolism, immune system activity, your sleep, blood pressure, your heart and blood vessel tone and contraction, and a whole lot more. To make matters worse, when we're stressed out, we look for that quick fix of instant joy, and too many times that leads to sugar time. And no, not from fruits and vegetables. Candy bars, soft drinks, processed food, refined grains, the whole kit and caboodle of the Western food mess. And then the cycle repeats. So wouldn't it be beneficial to channel your inner basketball player and create a quick routine of your own? I think it might be. So let's look at how you can change stressing from being your norm. A way to cancel out the stressful situations that arise, particularly the ones that become a daily battle. Now I turn to 5 steps that I like to follow in my stress management free throw routine that could hopefully guide you a little bit to getting some better control to all these emotional conditions you find yourself in on a daily basis. And I like to keep it simple. So number 1, identify your stress triggers. What in your daily life is inducing this stress response? Identifying and understanding that is really the first step to being able to push it to the side. Start to pay attention in your daily life. What gets your heart beating a little faster? What raises your blood pressure? Not in the good way, not like seeing a pretty girl on the train. In the bad way, like something on your commute, interactions with certain people, dealing with certain emails or situations at work. Think about it, and you know what? If it helps, write it down. So this transitions nicely into number 2, and it goes hand in hand with number 1. This is where you pinpoint that underlying cause. You've took the time to take in the situation, understand how your body reacts, and now you're pinpointing, you're understanding that specific trigger that is making you get emotional in the situation you're in, and that is causing this cascade of physiological events, starting from your brain and just running through your whole body. Then we move to number 3, which is justifying the validity of the stressor. Is this a valid thing to be stressing about? And I'll give you a little hint here. If it's not life-threatening, it's not. To number 4, is this stress response providing any benefit? Is it helping me escape from that saber-toothed tiger? If it is, okay, I'll allow it. But most of the time, it's just a waste of your precious brain CPU and not worth your time. And after you've gone through these 4 steps of really identifying and understanding the stressor of that situation, it's time for the most important step, and that's to detach and remove yourself. Step away, take 5 minutes, go for a walk, do some breathing, get a little meditation in, listen to some music, do something that gets you out of that situation that is causing you physiological harm. And I'll be the first to tell you, stress management is not an easy protocol to implement. This thing called life just keeps throwing jabs and right hooks all over the place, and before you know it, we find ourselves ducking and against the ropes in no time. That's the current world we live in. Sometimes you're gonna feel like you're in the opposing city, fans waving their thunder sticks behind you relentlessly, and the whole world is against you. That's life. Get in your routine and cancel that shit out. 99.9% of the time, you're not dealing with life or death situations. So, as my favorite Disney character would say, let it go. Implementing and practicing a stress management routine is one of the best investments that you're gonna make throughout your life. When you're old and wise, you're not gonna be reflecting on how you answered that email from your boss 40 years ago. So put shit in perspective. This is your life. Optimize it to the very fullest. There is no reason to risk longevity and your happiness over time over worrying and self-doubt. And the icing on the carrot cake will be when you realize you can perform at an optimal level with minimum stress. Just start shooting free throws. See what I mean?